The Beach Boys, Surfin Safari, right now on States and Kingdoms.
I wanted to revisit this one. I was going through some of our earlier videos.
A joy, I'm sure.
And I'm not watching them, because woof.
Barf.
But, no, I was going through some of these, and I forgot that we had done this a long time ago. I wanted to revisit it.
Yeah.
So, that's what this is. Surfin Safari.
Revisited.
I have no idea what we said in that video.
Nothing great.
Don't make me watch it. But, the,
That video's gonna disappear.
Listening to this album a lot, and there's some basic things I was thinking about with it. So, as for debut albums, like if you go through all of the debut albums of
like the big bands,
the big 60s groups, this is an interesting one. I mean, obviously I go through some of the other ones, but I mean, this is a really interesting debut album. And it is passed over a lot because it's lack of, profundity, I suppose. It's an album about, surfing or root beer or, the county fair, or, things like that.
Well, I mean, that's so Beach Boys, though.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just because the Beach Boys had there were so many albums.
This album could easily get passed over because Surfin' USA is, it's better. It obviously, it has the first instance of Brian's brilliance really on it. The production is better, the songwriting is better. They sound more, just more mature as musicians.
They sound really young
so everything.
On this.
So it did surpass it immediately. But just as a debut album, it's really interesting. One of the things that I just think is very interesting are how story-based a lot of the songs are. And, it's not that was so unusual. It's not unusual. But I think what, in this case, it's interesting because it captures teenage life, so well in 1962. And we're talking about this, our mom was in California in 1962, and she would always talk about, how it was all true. It was all like that.
Yeah.
That was California.
Being a young teenager in 1962 in California.
And hearing the Beach Boys.
This was the lifestyle.
And I think it just does capture that so perfectly.
Yeah,
so in that sense,
time capsule.
It's extremely successful. No, the songs aren't anywhere near the complexity of even what would be happening on the next album. They don't sound as confident production-wise. It's not, although the rawness of this album I actually really do like, and some of it really does translate so perfectly into Ramones songs.
Surfin' Safari. So this is a song that most people are familiar with.
Yeah, Surfin' Safari is a great song.
It is a great song.
It is. It's a great, great song. It sounds like the Beach Boys. A lot of the things on this album, including this song, they would carry with them forever.
Yeah, this seems just this is just a baby version, and it's the kernels of all of the things that are great about the Beach Boys that are going to
at least some
start
of them.
to blossom later on. A lot of it is already here.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
You can see it, you can hear it. I don't know. I think there's something really special about a lot of these songs. County Fair.
Yeah.
Is just a precursor to, other songs about, Americana and fairs and amusement parks and things that they'll revisit lots and lots. I think Mike's voice, his vocal on many of these songs, I think he just sounds great.
He sounds very young.
But there's
earnest.
There's an ease to the way he's singing, and especially I think on County Fair, some of the lines and the way he sings it, it's a really nice, it's a song, so dub. It's really nice lyrical style. It just, it really...
And he tells the story really well.
Yeah.
It does. It's just a good and kind of, irritating story of this guy losing his girl and the dog.
Yeah.
Stuffed dog.
He lost everything that day.
Yep.
10 Little Indians.
Completely in retrospect, just looking back at, what Brian would do, things like this stayed in him.
Yeah, because it's almost
these
like
old sort of folk
folky. It's like
songs.
You take a traditional song and you just, spruce it up with Beach Boys style, and it's very fun.
And it's heroes and villains.
Basically.
It's like you could... It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's interesting listening to this, thinking of it just that way.
Well, years later we'll get shortened bread.
Yes. I also just enjoy it for what it is. I'm not saying you have to listen to it that way. You do not have to. It's just interesting.
Yeah. Chug-a-Lug.
Chug-a-Lug is awesome.
Chug-a-Lug is a great song. I think Chug-a-Lug is so fun. I like how all of the members are called out, like doing some,
Yep.
Dave's like chasing a chick and Dennis, it's like...
Yeah, and Dennis is at home like reading. Sure,
he's knitting. Yeah. Dennis is knitting.
The whimsical nature of the Beach Boys is something that, I think most Beach Boys fans love about them. And this album, even though there are some like sad stories, very in a teenage way, there's a lot of just fun writing songs about things that aren't necessarily substantial, but are things that people do and teenagers did.
Yeah, we use mugs.
In 1960, 61, 62. I just think, I think it's very successful. I mean, because, it could have just been love songs, or the fact that you get this, and a pretty, and also very consistent body of songs.
It is. And a lot of original compositions.
Yeah.
Which is pretty notable.
The next one is not one of them, but right. Yes.
Little Miss America.
Well, this is notable, of course, just for Dennis singing it. And, I mean, you hear a little Dion in there, definitely.
Yeah. He does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
His voice at this point is very nice.
Yeah, it is.
It's really, really nice.
I mean, on this album, his voice almost sounds the most developed in a way.
Yeah. Which is maybe why he got the lead on this. I mean, I think really...
They just wanted to give him a song to sing so that,
So the girls can scream?
Yeah.
409, of course.
Yeah.
409, what can you say?
You talk about this on like 5 different albums.
I know.
Feels like. But yeah, I mean...
Classic.
I mean, if you could make a case that this is the greatest song on this album, it's
a great song.
It's a masterpiece. It's an amazing song. Just,
Yeah.
What would the world be without 409?
Yeah, for real. Side 2, Surfin'. So, we kind of touched on this already.
Yeah, it's pretty raw. I actually don't remember. In American Graffiti, and someone would definitely remember. I haven't watched that in a little while now. When John Milner says the thing about, he doesn't know about these Beach Boys, music's been going downhill since Buddy Holly died.
Yeah.
I forget what song it is
that's playing.
Is on the radio.
I can't remember either.
Or Surfin Safari, because I can never remember. Yeah, the production is definitely sparser, and I at least find that very interesting, because it's unusual for the Beach Boys.
Well, I love that. I love that, like, syncopated, the with the snare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is. It's a great song.
It is pretty sparse, but it's absolutely effective.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's just... I guess I want to say that, like, there are spaces.
Yeah.
In the song.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's not busy.
Not,
there's
like,
not
dense. Yeah.
It's not a wall of sound.
You can breathe. You can breathe in it. Heads you win, tails I lose.
Yeah, it's another great song.
I really, really like this song a lot. This is the one that stood out to me when we started listening to this record more, and especially the beginning. The beginning has like some really, really nice like chord progression going on. It's like it just has something that makes it sound a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
I also like how the lyrics change, like in the beginning, like he's gonna lose no matter what. But then by the end, it's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's just an Abbott and Costello routine in a song, basically.
Yeah. Summertime Blues.
I don't like people doing this song. The only version of this song, and this includes The Who, the only version of the song that I really like is Blue Cheer, because they altered it so much.
It's very different.
But this is a good version. You know, it's fine.
It's not my favorite song.
It's just a song that, like, only Eddie Cochran could do this song. Really, to me, whatever it is, his version is just, I don't know, you just can't get at it.
It's the standard.
Well, sure.
Obviously.
I mean, it's his song.
Cuckoo Clock.
This is an interesting song. And I'll just get out of the way that it always makes me think of that Monks single. Yeah. You know.
Horribly catchy, weird song.
I mean, it's not that far off.
It's not.
It's definitely a little bit. Not. It's interesting. And it's Brian singing. And this album, they just all sound like they're like 12 years old. It's really, I know. And it's funny because on the next album, they really don't. It wasn't that long after. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Like it's 3 months later.
But again, I like that. It's just like teenage music done by teenagers, which is what rock and roll was so much.
Moondog. This is such a good instrumental. I love this.
I mean, it doesn't have the exuberance or rawness of the original, but it is good.
There's just a real sadness to that backing vocal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The harmonies are really nice. I like this version a lot.
You're right, though. That does put their stamp on it. And, on the first album, you already hear like hints of that coming.
Yeah, totally.
That melancholy.
The shift.
This is, very straightforward, kind of Chuck Berry-ish, song. But it's quirky.
I like it.
And the line, it's smaller than a moo-moo, which,
Let's hope it is.
I know. It's just...
It has a good sound, though. It sounds like them.
It does. But these are the songs that just really wouldn't do again. They really never did some of these things again. I mean, they're very whimsical. In fact, you could even make the case maybe that they wouldn't do not this, but some of this kind of whimsical sort of these whimsical topics until like Brian started doing grander versions, like almost like grander versions of them in '66.
Well, yeah, the next few albums are based in reality.
Yeah,
real stuff.
Surfing, cars, then love or relationships or introspection or melancholy and all sorts of things.
Vegetables.
And then vegetables. So I mean, it's almost like things like Chug-a-Lug, and you don't hear that almost until a little bit later. So it's almost presaging
it's like Brian
that.
suppressed it.
Yeah.
He kept it down for a few years, and then it was like, no, songs about feet.
It's just interesting because there is a whimsy on this that is, it's always there. It's not it's just not there at all. But it doesn't come out until a little bit later, and that's like Brian. I mean, and he writing songs about doing the dishes or doing whatever it is, Johnny Carson.
Right.
That's him, and you kind of don't get that for a while, but it is really on this.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So I enjoy that about this album, and that's really just it.
Yeah.
It's a good rock and roll album. It's interesting. It's the debut album of really my favorite rock and roll band, but it's also just time capsule, and it's got this quirkiness, the sense of humor that I love about them, but you don't even really hear until a few years after.
No, I love it. It's really
somewhat different form, but
it's really fun to listen to. They're all playing on it. Obviously, it's something that people like to mention where they're taking shots at the Beach Boys. Didn't play their instruments well, whatever. But they're all playing here.
Mike is playing everything.
He's playing all of them, and it sounds great. I love the sound of this album. It's just like a real pleasure to listen to.
It does sound good.
It does.
It sounds different. It's not as produced, but it does really sound good.
But it does sound like
it was
produced sounds like the baby Beach Boys, and it's clear that there's gonna be what we hear coming after. It makes perfect sense listening to this, but
I think it's one of the best debut albums.
It is. It's a really good debut album. It really is. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching, folks. Let us know what you think about Surfin Safari in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll have another video for you probably on Wednesday. It's looking like Wednesdays and Fridays now, folks, so make sure to stay tuned. Thanks so much. See you next time.